Okay, I think in the interest of time, we better get started here. So hopefully,
I win.
hopefully, yeah, we could do it that way. So I'm gonna take a chance and share my screen again. Didn't work out so well last time, but okay. We'll go to the basic group, and first we'll have a survey of all the images. They'll be up there for a brief amount of time, and we'll go back through them, and the judges will then make their comments. So let's see here, show images. Josh says same link. I said,
just before you clicked that, it said 0 images in basic, so I think there's something wrong.
yeah, I'm trying to text Josh at the same time. Okay, let me get back, and I probably didn't check some. Oh, that's because I need to be in this one.
The advanced one.
Yeah, let's go to this one. All right, now let's try and see if that works. So there we go. So we have 18 images in basic, and the theme is the blues. Okay. First image, old weathered blue door. A crystal ball in a blue field. Little bluebird. Forget the past. Blue-eyed darner love triangle. Texas bluebonnet up close and beautiful. Summertime blues. Beach day at Blue Bay. Blues Magoos. Yellowstone. Blue hour in Iceland. Texas blues, wishing for a warmer spring. Blue on blue, sky overhead. A day to forget. Electric blue hydrangea. Hey, where's my smoke? And I'm sorry, I'm getting messages as we speak. That was
Shades of blue on the horizon.
blue. Yes. Shades of blue in the horizon. Okay, I gotta go to my list to read it. All right. Now let's go through them again, but this time with judges' comments. Let me get my list of who's reading what. Okay, basic. Oh, I knew judges, I forgot to, even though I asked you for who you're going to critique, I forgot to write all of them down. So if your name is, if you're supposed to critique an image, let me know as soon as it comes up.
I'm supposed to do this one. This is Lindsay.
Okay.
All right. So I really appreciated the subject here. I thought the color and the tones, the door is very interesting. There's a lot going on. You know, the handle, there's some scratches up the top. Kind of made me wonder and question. And I think where I think there's some opportunity is sort of, I wish there was a little bit more to the door. You know, you know, could we see the wall that it's mounted in, or the building, or, you know, I think the composition itself is, you know, it's very centered. So, you know, adding a little interest by maybe shifting the perspective, or zooming out a little bit, or even zooming all the way in on a specific feature, I think would have added some interest. I think also possibly adding a little bit of contrast, or kind of changing the lighting a little bit, making it a little more dramatic, would have added some depth. Again, just going for a little bit more dimension. But overall, like I said, I appreciate the color, the blues, and the warmth of the wood is pleasing. So yeah, those are my comments.
Okay, thanks a lot. Next image. A crystal ball in a blue field. Okay. Little bluebird. Okay. Forget the past.
That's mine.
Okay.
Yeah, I really love the composition of this and the idea for the current theme. The photo is really well composed, and it's really not a very easy photo to shoot because it's pretty difficult to get smaller insects such as these in focus, especially when 1/3 of the subjects are obviously moving. It was a great use of plane of focus to achieve it. The images like these involve quite a lot of patience and attention to detail. It's extremely difficult to grab the exact composition because you have fractions of a second to select it. A couple of items you might consider if you want to further post-process the image just to see what things might look like would be to remove the out of focus element in the lower right corner of the photo. The bright area can pull, at least it pulled my eye right to it. And it should be pretty simple to do with a clone stamp tool or something similar. Although it would be a bit time consuming, you may also consider removing the extraneous stem that dissects the bottom darner. There are tools and techniques within Photoshop and other third-party software to help you accomplish this. You might consider making the lower left corner of the photo the more equivalent blue of the surrounding sky areas. Not critical, but. And then along the top edge of the main stem, there's a white outline that runs the entire length, although part of that's caused by the angle of the light, but it also might be further presented due to something called fringing. And you could use tools like graduated filters to help reduce the line while preserving nice blue color. But overall, I think it's a great photo.
Okay. Thanks, Don. Texas bluebonnet, up close and beautiful.
Yeah,
Carol?
I did this one. I really thought that the color and the lighting in this image really stood out as super strong elements. But you have some real limited focus here, and what felt like maybe too shallow of a depth of field in your choices. And I don't think this image didn't bring up the data, so I didn't know what you had selected in order to give the photographer a more precise recommendation, other than maybe being careful, maybe especially if you've moved in really close, be careful if you're using autofocus on things like this. You want to probably try to switch to manual focus so that you can make sure, like for me, that the very sort of front flower would have been what I would have wanted to be in focus if I was going to have super shallow depth of field. And as it is, it's kind of slipped up to one of the higher ones. And my autofocus also will kind of move on me when I think I've picked something and then I go to trip the shutter. It sometimes will have slipped. So you might try manual focus rather than, if that's what you did. You might also try bracketing your f-stops, or even just, manually increase. Or if you have on the front of your camera, you may have a button that's a depth of field preview button that you can push, and it will sort of manually close the shutter down for you to what it is that you're going to see. And if you had said, or what's going to be in focus when you take the shot. So when you have this much brightness, you might have been able to check it that way and see as well. Now, if you'd had those elements in focus, then you might look at maybe some different cropping to this image. Like Dawn said, like the lower right has a light area, some extraneous stems and stuff that go across. I don't think they really add anything to the image. And you could even have looked at having a much, even a square crop of this at the end when you finish, because you've got some really nice diagonal elements already nicely out of focus in the background that could have made it really strong. But I don't think the little fuzzy seed things are helping, and of course they're not in focus either. So but you could end up with a good strong square image just looking at some of those sort of I basically, this is a basic group, so that's why I'm like talking like you're like a basic photographer. And I chose this picture to talk about because I thought it was a good one to give some examples that everybody else could benefit from. So like I said, again, the lighting and the color on this are just really gorgeous. So next bluebonnet season, head back out there because you got that down. That's great.
Okay, thank you. Summertime Blues. Let's see, no commentary on that one. Each day at Blue Bay, and we don't have commentary on that one either. Blues Magoos. Carol, I believe you.
Yeah, that's me again. This is very eye-catching. I love abstracts. And as you all know, with abstracts, there isn't necessarily a specific subject. So color, texture, shape, line, all those things are just like really important. You have really good texture here along the top with the bubbles that really jumps out at you. This appears to be a shot maybe through a glass table or a shower door, some kind of wavy glass, which adds some additional pleasing texture. Shapes are really intriguing here. It could be like a person, with a neck and a really bushy hair, or a tree with a root system. I mean, you can really go with that. The vivid blue is super outstanding element of this image, and I was intrigued by the title, so I Googled that, and it's actually is the name of, some of you more music-minded people might have recognized it, but it was the name of a 60s, 70s kind of a psychedelic rock band out of New York, and I think they had like one really well-known song that I recognized, but it was a fun discovery, but it made it a little obscure. So if you had not like Googled, you would have necessarily made the connection with the psychedelic, but that was fun. It was like a little surprise. Most problematic to me for this image was pretty much a real lack of focus in the whole bottom of the picture. And then you've got this, and the blown out area at the bottom, which I think had that been handled better, wouldn't have been a bad element to have in the photo, but the way it's blown out, it really pulls your eye to it, and it's a very strong detractor. I would certainly recommend, if you could reshoot that, I would recommend trying some more with these, because I think that you're really onto something. And be very careful with your focus and your depth of field again. That was, that's primarily what caused that, I suspect caused that bottom area to be so much more out of focus than the top. So if you can reshoot it, I would try it again. I think it's great.
Thank you. Next. Yellowstone.
That one is one of mine.
Yes.
So yeah, this one was interesting. So the blue theme comes into play with the clouds up top, but I really think the subject here are these really interesting pieces of wood. They almost look like they're dancing or something. I thought that was really neat. There's, some smoke or maybe some dust in the background that adds a little bit of interest as well. The tones are pleasing, the blue with the lighter tan again is balanced. I think what would really kind of punch this up a little bit is the kind of the crop and composition. So, again, I think the subject here is the wood, and although the blue is appropriate for the theme, I think we could have, gotten rid of a little bit of that and really, either kind of cropped in on the wood, maybe, shifted your angle a little bit to really make those the center of the photograph. There was a little bit of pixelation sort of in the clouds as well, just sort of a technical thing. And then I couldn't quite tell, there's like a line, I don't know if you can see, sort of coming down from one of the clouds. And I couldn't tell if it was dust, more of that smoke, or if it was maybe something on the sensor or on the lens. But that was a little bit distracting for me from what I think the subject is. Otherwise, it was a very creative, artistic take on a landscape. And I appreciate the image, and yeah, I think it was great.
Thanks, Lindsay.
I might comment on that. That's geysers that smoke.
Geysers. Okay,
I told you it was in his backyard.
there you go.
Okay, Blue Hour in Iceland.
Yeah, that's mine.
Okay.
I thought this was a very interesting juxtaposition between the moss and grass covered rocks in the foreground and the mountain and glacier in the background. Also the gentle roundness of the rocks in the foreground versus the sharp edges of the mountain. The photo is well balanced in weight between the rocks, glacier mountain, and sky clouds. I was not sure whether the photographer happened to title the photo using the term blue hour, or if it was actually considered to be blue hour. I've never been to Iceland before, so I wasn't 100% sure it looked like it was actually the blue hour. But I don't know that for sure. But a few thoughts that we might consider if we had a chance to take the photo again or to post-process it. Try cropping the photo about 1.5 inches from the top, just underneath the topmost left cloud. I thought it really strengthened the photo quite a lot when I played with it. Play around with reducing the saturation just a little bit, as some of the elements look a little bit oversaturated to me, at least my eye. Perhaps consider opening the shadows just a bit, especially on the mountain, so we could see just a little bit more detail in one of those peaks. Perhaps experiment with luminance sliders a little bit to somewhat lighten the impact of the dark blues. The photo looks very good with a 4x5 vertical crop starting from the right. So if you could crop off some of the right of this, it makes a huge difference. That crops off about 40% of the photo on the right and reduces the impact of the blues a little bit. This puts the interest right on the mountain and the glacier. And then with the crop suggestion on the sky, you would be left with a pretty square photo. And it was hugely different when I did that on my own computer. But I'd say lucky you for being there with your camera in tow.
All right. Thanks, Donald. Next is, where Blue, our Texas Blues, wishing for a warmer spring. And we do not have comments on this one tonight. Blue out, oh, excuse me. Blue on blue sky overhead.
That
And
was-
this is Lindsay.
Yeah. So this one was fun. I really enjoy this image. I appreciate the composition. Obviously the color fits very well with the theme, the multiple shades of blue. I think there's some symmetry there with the way the tints sort of open up on the bottom left and the top right. I think that the placing the line of the lighting sort of just off center is nice. That's just a little bit of interest instead of just splitting it down the middle. I think that was a good choice. You can sort of feel the warmth of the day. I can kind of imagine being, laying by a pool and looking up at this. And again, I think it was just a fun, creative take on the theme. As far as, if we could do it again, I think, if you could somehow add a little bit more depth, I think I would have appreciated maybe like a starburst of the sun or a ray of sunlight coming through, just to add that little bit of maybe a little less abstract, more reality, but that might just be sort of a personal preference. I think it does stand as an abstract piece on its own. There was a little bit of pixelation in the sky when you get some of the sky areas. But other than that, like I said, it was a really fun piece and something that I appreciated for sure.
All right, thank you. Day to forget.
This one's mine.
Okay.
This photo, when combined with the title, really made me think and feel, which is generally what I think we should be doing as viewers of fine photography. Most of the photos submitted in the beginner section use color to signify blue, but this is really the absence of color tied to an emotional setting. And one of our jobs as artists is to have our viewers stay focused on an image and to see how it makes them feel. And this one definitely accomplished that for me. It's obvious that some type of celebration's over, but we just don't know what kind. However, the title haunts me just a little bit because it suggested the day begs to be forgotten. And all of the planning, excitement, anxiety, energy, and money that went into this event is over, and something happened or didn't happen, leaving the artist blue and hoping to forget that day. As a technical black and white image, I thought it was pretty exceptional. Simple, but exceptional. The lights and darks are nicely rendered. The lines are straight. The photo's well balanced. Everything's in focus, and the detail and texture was exceptional. It appears there are more deflated balloons and party favors on the other side of the fence. Even the knots in the wood resembled human eyes and open mouths, making this just a bit more haunting. But I really like this photo.
Okay, great observations. Okay, next. Electric blue hydrangea. Hey, where's my smoke? Shades of blue on the horizon. And the last image in this category, blues. And Carol, you were going to talk.
Yeah, although it's like really scary now going after Dawn. You're tearing it up, Dawn.
I see faces on this one.
Yeah, no, yeah, and congratulations to the shooter. There were actually there were only 2 person portraits in the whole competition. The other one was an advanced group. So so congrats for doing another one of the other people. You've got some nice framing of her. You got good diagonal across the composition there. You've got her supportive hand is adding a nice geometrical sort of element there. And the major detraction to this image is the lack of focus on the subject. And generally when you shoot people, the most important element to have in focus is the eyes. And when the person is also wearing glasses, that can be, that can make it even more difficult. So you would need sufficient depth of field to get both of those in focus at this distance. Now, fortunately, this image did include some of the data. So you shot this at f4. So I would suggest that you stop that down. And you also shot at 1/40th, which may, for you, may be a little slow of a shutter speed for hand holding. Sometimes I can do it, sometimes I can't, but, and I'm assuming, of course, that you were not shooting with a tripod. And if you were, then I apologize, but even if you were, you missed the focus. So ISO was shot at 1600. So, you know, I guess it was dark. You were trying to avoid some additional noise and thought maybe with the shutter speed and opening it up to f4. And you know, the lighting and the color of her skin is just really, really nice. Had you gotten the focus, would have been great. Also, when you crop it, look over to the left of the side, you see there's just a little area between like her sleeve and the side of the photo. You know, you can move that in, bring the top down if you want to maintain the particular proportions that you have there. I mean, if this is a friend and you can shoot her again, I would do that. She has great skin and she looks great in natural light. So definitely exploit her as a model and go for it again.
Okay, thanks. So now it's time to see how the judges rank the images. We'll go judge's choice. So we have 3 places and 2 honorable mentions. The first honorable mention is Blue on Blue Sky Overhead, Clay Laban. Congratulations, Clay. Honorable mention, Delaney Van for Electric Blue Hydrangea. Beautiful collection of flowers and petals. Blue Hour in Iceland, Lou Abalafia. I didn't see that Lewis was here tonight, but another one of his great landscape images. Second place, Where's My Smoke? Also Lou Abalafia. And first place, William Ling, Blue-Eyed Darner, Love Triangle. Beautiful image, very great capture. That's not, like Donald said, that is not easy.
Thank you.
I am going to cut back on the artist comments tonight. If we have time at the end, we'll do that. But given our interruption, I think we need to keep moving on. So if you will forgive me, I'll also need to do the People's Choice. For those of you who don't know, we have open voting online where members can rank their top 10 images, and the results of that are as follows. The bronze medal goes to Donna Smith for Little Bluebird. Another great bird shot, Donna. You never disappoint. People's Choice Silver goes to Delaney Van for The Old Weathered Door. And gold goes to Lou Abalafia for Blue Hour in Iceland. Okay. Well, we made it through the basics. Now let's try the intermediates. As before, we'll go through them one at a time just to show them. There are 17 images in this category. Early Morning in May. The Blues and a Yellow. into the wild blue yonder. Blue lagoon. Blueberry Hill. Hi, I'm a blue grosbeak. Playing in the fountain. Now that's cool. Edgerton Blues. Blues Buster. Marco Blue. Tailhook. 17 Shades of Blue. Blue Morning. Wheel of Complexity. Emergence. Moody Blues. Okay. So we'll go through them again, this time with the judges' comments. Get my list here. Okay, early morning in May, and that's Lindsay.
Yes. So I think this is a beautiful scene, lots of blue. I think obviously the colors fit well with the theme. I sort of feel a chill in the air when I look at this. Something that I sort of am on the fence about, I think I put in both my positive and my negative category, is the reflection there in the center of the mountain in the water. It took my eye a moment to kind of figure out what I was seeing there. I think at first I was like, is that were we trying to Photoshop something out? But the more I looked at it, oh, that's a reflection. And so, sorry guys. Once I realized what it was, it added interest. And so I appreciated it. It just took me a while to get there. And so I think what could have possibly helped with that, I think the cropping in a little bit would have added some things for a few reasons. I think I love the dark rocks in the foreground. I think it adds sort of that depth and some contrast there. But there's a lot of them. I think we could have probably cut into them just a little bit, kind of off of the left side and the bottom, and zoomed in just a bit, and that would have drawn our eye in just a little closer to the midground and background there. You can see there's some clouds in front of the mountains. There's an airplane line going through the sky, and I think by just zooming in a bit, that would have brought us in just a little bit more. But overall, a beautiful image.
Yeah, thanks, Lindsay.
That's mine, Mark.
Okay, so go for it.
Yeah, I'll bet it was a lot of fun to create this image, and I just wonder if you brought all the other colors with you to share with the group. I thought it was really creative and definitely met the theme for the night. It's well lit and in focus from front to back. Like that you did not place the yellow M&M in the front center position. When I stared at this more, the blue is so overpowering. I didn't notice this initially, but when I studied it further, I saw the artifacts that were showing up within the glass as well as below the glass. And they're a little bit distracting, but the image is so bold with the blue that I didn't notice it. The reason for this is the glass is made into a series of mirrors due to the curvature of the glass in one area and then cut glass in the other. If you take a photo like this again, you might want to play around a little bit with lighting to see if that could be reduced. It looks like you had two light sources from above at about 30 degrees to the camera. I wonder what would happen if you placed those two lights somewhere else, one shooting straight down, for example, and the other below the dish shooting straight up using a sheet of glass. It would take a little trial and error. I'm not sure if you were intending for the background to be white or slightly gray, but to keep the background white, you might also consider lighting it with a couple of flashes. But it was a really fun idea.
Okay, thanks, Don. Into the wild blue yonder. Blue lagoon. Lindsay.
Yes. So a very creative, again, another creative use for the theme. Definitely caught it at the peak of the action. We see some movement there. I think the lighting is nice. I like that, you know, you can see some of the highlights and the details in the glass and some of the ice cube and that sort of thing. I think I sort of have a love-hate relationship with that glass in the back. You know, I think it adds some context, you know, okay, are there people drinking this blue liquid, or, you know, why do we have blue liquid on the table? But, you know, I think it would be interesting also to see if that was out of the field and you really just focused in on the main glass here in the front. I love the, you know, the dark blue area. You can kind of see the movement of that blob that's about to come over. So I think the shutter speed was great for that. However, and again, this may be a personal preference. You can see the movement of the droplets at the top, but maybe increasing that shutter speed just a bit would have frozen those a little bit more, and so we would have seen them, in, you know, frozen in time. Otherwise, I thought it was a really cool image. Again, very creative, and yeah, those are my comments.
Okay, thank you.
Mhm.
Blueberry Hill. Hi, I'm a blue grosbeak. Carol, are you a blue
Yep,
grosbeak?
that's me. I am not a blue grosbeak. But this is a really nice example of a blue grosbeak. The placement of the subject and the foliage makes a really strong plus sort of shape in the composition. The curves of the bird's side, right side and head are kind of nicely accented with the foliage going off to the right side there. That being said, overall, it strikes me as a little muddy. The background is that kind of grayish that we just saw in another image, and that feels a little dark. And the on my monitor, there appears to be some noise in the bird, especially in the blue areas. And I don't know whether that might be due to some over sharpening or maybe too much pushing of the shadows in a dark image. It kind of feels like maybe this was dark and they worked really hard to lighten it up, but at the loss of some of the focus, perhaps. Overall, obviously, this person is a really good bird shooter. The image just didn't quite succeed.
Okay. Next is Playing in the Fountain. And now that's cool.
That's mine.
Okay.
I personally love to take photos of birds taking a bath because they come up with some really interesting things. With the heat of our summer, that title really pulled us in. The framing of the bird in the bath by natural vegetation is great and pulls our eyes directly to the bird. Since the bird most likely was moving to create those splashes, I think you chose the correct shutter speed to freeze motion. I wonder if using a square crop making certain that the inner blue-gray bowl is only cropped a little from each side may make the photo a bit more intimate. This could easily be accomplished in post-processing. It would also place the bird a little higher and just off center in the frame, but overall, nice shot.
Okay. Next is Edgerton Blues. Carol.
That's me again. So this is a nicely abstract, possibly composite image. Although as I looked up gears and bicycle, assuming maybe this is bicycle gears cassettes, this could be just a whole bicycle cassette thing coming undone, which is why the person was blue about it. It's definitely an intriguing image. I felt personally, though, that the impact was was lessened by the fact that the focus fell off as you went to the right and to the larger elements, that was out of focus as opposed to the smaller elements that are more in the back. And yeah, I think that really detracted. It sort of led me to question the focus decision and depth of field choices made, but I don't know, who it was. I felt that the background field was really effective in supporting the image flow, as that whatever that is in the background that kind of enlarges as the cogs come down and are larger. The addition, I'm presuming, of the aquatones met the theme, although it didn't really add much mood wise. Aqua just seems kind of cheery for me, and that looks like way too cheery of a blue if your cassette gear is falling apart. Also a word on titling that once again I googled Edgerton. It's like not obviously a brand of bicycle gears, but sometimes if the title is a little ambiguous in a way that maybe makes the viewer feel stupid, that can really be kind of off-putting. So just a little hint there that being a little vague or a little clever with the titling, you've got to be careful with that.
Carol, I think that Edgerton in this case refers to a famous photographer.
Oh, well, see.
I forgot his first name, but he was famous for high-speed photography in freezing motion.
Okay.
Bullets growing through apples and things of that nature. So that, my guess, is what the intent was here.
Okay. Well, there you go.
Yeah.
Not one of the first things that popped up on a Google search. So,
No.
but yeah, at any rate, redo it, maybe with some more focus on that larger element, and I think it would be a better image.
Okay. Thank you, Carol.
Yeah.
Next is Blues Buster.
That one is mine.
Okay.
I love this image. I think the tones are fun. We've got the cool blue and the warm yellow. I think it's a really cool, creative take on the theme again. I think that there's a really great use of lighting. I like how we have sort of that highlight in the back. It adds a little bit of dimension to the balls. They're not all the same color. I think, the only couple suggestions I possibly could throw out there would be, my eye's a little bit detracted by the stuff in the top left and the back. It's like the balls are sitting on a tray or something. So, I appreciate the blue around the edge. It adds obviously the color here, but cropping in maybe just a little bit tighter would have helped center my focus in on the balls. And then, another option would be that yellow ball, maybe making him slide off center or something. He feels a little bit centered, but not too off centered for me. But other than that, I thought this was just a really fun, great image.
Thanks, Lindsay. Okay, next is Marco Blue, and
That's fine, Mark.
Okay.
First, I really love the color in this photo. Yeah, you really nailed exposure, color, white balance, depth of field, and focus. The composition is great. But I'd like you to try something for me because I played around with this image and discovered something. Try cropping out the sky just above the dark blue patch of the water above the wave to the far left. It's kind of hard to describe when I can't put my cursor there. I think this would create the sense of going on forever and remove the single color sky that more detracts from the photo than it does add value. It can be difficult to take photos when the skies are single color and no clouds to add some drama. It would really transform this image actually into something very special. The photo would no longer be a square crop, but maybe a 5x4.
Cool. Thanks. All right. Let's see. Next is Tailhook. "17 Shades of Blue." "Blue Morning." "Wheel of Complexity." Carol.
Okay. I think it was really unique to take this photo that sort of looks like a spirograph or a digital manipulation. And I'm assuming that it's the bottom of a crystal or glass bowl. However, the technical elements could be really improved to make this, or could be changed, I think, to improve this image. The data isn't included, so I can't speak specifically, but the focus seems to be lacking depth. So I would suggest a different f-stop. The perspective is off center, so it doesn't really quite work in terms of a wheel. And especially since the lower left, which is, really, kind of angled more oddly, that's like really out of focus. So it kind of really sort of draws your attention to that. If the shooter can redo this on a tripod and maybe with the subject also maybe propped somehow, I would definitely encourage trying this again with changing the apertures to find the optimal depth of field and focus for this, because I think that this could be a lot of fun. I did some similar sort of shots to this at Christmas time with different colors of Jello in the crystal pitcher that I was using, and it can be fun, but it's really challenging. So I encourage the person to keep trying with this one.
Great. Okay. Emergence. And Moody Blues. Okay, that is the intermediate class tonight. So let's see what the judges thought. Judge's choice. Okay, so we have, again, 2 honorable mentions and first, second, third places. Honorable mention goes to Cheryl Callan for Early Morning in May. I did not realize that was a reflection. I should have looked harder. That's cool. I like that. Cheryl Callan for Moody Blues. Third place, Wheel of Complexity, Jim McDaniel. Second place, Edgerton Blues, Gene Thomas. That is really interesting. And first place, Gene Thomas for Blues Buster. Well, it's a Gene Thomas night, isn't it? Gene, just briefly, can you tell us how you did the Edgerton Blues shot?
Yeah. Can you hear me?
Yes.
I sort of became a puppet master. I had one of those bicycle sprockets on some sort of mechanism that I can control with one hand. And as I wobbled it and shot with stroboscopic mode of my flash, that was my best take.
Very interesting. That how many times did you have to shoot it?
Oh, okay. I can't reveal that.
Okay.
It was a lot.
It was one shot take. Well, congratulations. That's a really intriguing image. Thank you.
Yeah, that was very cool.
Is it more than one sprocket, or is it one sprocket, multiple exposures?
One sprocket.
With stroboscopic.
And as I walked it, say like within a 2-foot plane of travel, the flash of the strobe would take another picture as it was wangling along that little path that I had.
Got it. Okay, got it. Thanks. Yeah.
All right. Well, now we're going to move on to the advanced class. Let's see.
Did you have people's choice in there?
Choice.
Oh, sorry. Thank you for reminding me. Let me go back. Oh boy, I hope I didn't miss that. That was the blues. All right. So that was intermediate. And I'm going to take that and go to people's choice. All right. So the bronze goes to Ed Pete for the blues and the yellow. I hope you ate all that afterwards.
You bet.
Cool shot. And looks like you were having fun with blue stuff, boy. So this one was 17 Shades of Blue. Another really creative shot.
Yeah.
You didn't really need those crayons.
Not anymore.
The gold medal goes to Cheryl Callan for early, what is that? Early in May, early morning in May, thank you. All right, very cool. All right, now we'll move on to the advanced group. And I'm going to, let's see, September the Blues. No, not that. Let's see if I get what I think I'm going to get. Nope, I've got to go back. All right. That's why. All right, now let's try it. Okay, we have 16 images in this category. We're going to go through them all, and then I will let Dennis talk about them. Neon Nights. Nothing But the Blues. Eastern Bluebird Against a Pale Blue Sky.
Move your cursor.
Oh, thank you. Singing the Blues Under Insanely Blue Sky. No Picnic Today. Mount Rainier Blue Hour. Just Missed. Utah Sky Blues. Venetian Sunrise. A Drop of Oil on Bull Creek. Bud Light Blues. Missing the mountains. Waiting for the bats. Shaken all over. Gone in 60 seconds. Moody Blues. Okay. We're going to try something really difficult tonight, but as Dennis makes his comments on a few of the images, he did some edits for suggestions. I'm going to try and show those. We'll see if I can walk and chew gum at the same time. So without further ado, Dennis Hirning, let us know what you think.
I probably should correct something I said on that Yellowstone. That probably wasn't a geyser. It was more of a steam vent.
Okay.
The geyser spit a lot of water and stuff out. So how are we doing for time?
We've got 25 minutes for 16 images. So
Okay, I'll try to hurry on through. Okay, the neon lights here. The open aperture works well to keep the neon tubes from being too sharp and dominant in the image. The strength in both of the blue and magenta do give a mood that isn't very often used. The right arm held over the model's head does seem a little awkward, but it does act as a frame for her face. I might consider turning the camera more to the left to eliminate the corner of the building and also moving your subject away from the middle of the frame. If the arm weren't in that position, you might have used a little lower camera position to move the model's face a little higher in the frame.
okay. Thank you. Next is Nothing But the Blues.
Okay, the blue colors work well for this theme. I like the star or sunburst on the hat and also on the hand. I do like this being positioned a little off center. I might like to see this from a little more of a profile view to show more of the side of the face. It probably wouldn't be possible to keep the sunburst if you did that though.
Okay. Eastern Bluebird.
You have good sharpness where it counts. The out of focus background has enough detail to add to the story without becoming a distraction. I might like to see more area on the left and top to move your subject away from the center of the frame and to give it some more room.
All right. Singing the Blues Under an Insanely Blue Sky.
Yeah, this works well with the theme. You have done well with the poor lighting conditions available to you. Looks like you might have had different types of lighting on the scene. I wish that your position could have been on the other side of the mic stand. The equipment takes a lot of the attention away from the performer.
Okay. No picnic today.
Yeah, the greens of the scene set off the blue skies nicely. They have a good sharpness. The dark skies are foreboding to the image. I can't say for sure, but it appears that all the depth of field was not done in the camera. I didn't know I could tell you that I actually knew this was a depth 2.8. So if that is wrong, I would like to have seen the lens stop down more to give more depth of field so the grass in the foreground would be sharp and more sharpness would be in the clouds and the trees in the back. It would make the storm look more threatening. I think it'd be awful hard to get that, just that center portion there, even at 2.8, and still have the foreground and the background out of focus.
Mount Rainier Blue Hour.
Okay, the star trails really add to this. A strong moonlight would have really caused sharp stars to look out of place. Stopping down on your aperture could have given this more of a night look and still kept some of the blue in the sky. If it were a crescent moon, it would have given less light for the foreground, but you would still have some detail. That moon would only be visible either early in the night or closer to the sunrise. And I have heard somewhere where, like if it's a quarter moon or less, then it's a little bit easier to handle with the stars.
Just missed.
I like all the detail in the water. It adds to the story and interest. There's good sharpness with no distractions. The exposure was well handled and still give detail in the shadows without washing out the highlights. Personally, I might have considered flipping this so it read from left to right instead of the other way, but that's just my opinion. Maybe add a little more room to the top and left. Too bad it missed the fish. It could have been a good prop.
Let me see if I can get the, here we go. All right. I don't know if this is going to work. Let's see. Are you seeing this flipped?
It's pretty hard to tell.
All right. Now,
Yes, but small.
Just double click it so it goes into preview mode.
any better? It shows up full screen on my screen, but anyway, you get the idea. Actually, what I should probably be showing is, let's see. I just missed. That didn't do anything, did it?
Yeah, there it is.
Oh, it did work? Is it big?
It worked.
Oh, good. Okay. Well, I got to figure out how to get back to my original. Okay, back to this. Next image is, okay, Utah Sky Blues.
Okay, I can really relate to this image. I enjoy looking for interesting cloud formations to add to my cloud file. The contrast separates the clouds from the blue sky very well. You should try to look for something for the viewer's eye to rest on. In this case, it could be one of the darker clouds at the bottom, or it might be to highlight a cloud in one area so it becomes your subject. If you plan to use clouds for sky replacements, you might not want to use this one in this form. It seems obvious that it was positioned above the photographer. If used as a replacement, it could be transformed to make it look more closer to the horizon. It would take some vertical compression and also a change in perspective to sink the further clouds, shrink their further clouds closer together. Further cloud, sorry.
Okay. Next is Venetian Sunrise.
I really like the warm clouds of the sky contrasting with the cool colors of the shadow areas, as well as the blue color of the gondolas. I like that the lines of the boats are leading the eye to the spire on the opposite shore. I would like to see a faster shutter speed to stop the motion of the boats. I did notice that this was a 1/13 of a second. You probably could have increased your ISO to 400 without even noticing any difference in the quality with your camera. I've got the same thing, Canon 5D Mark III. If you don't mind doing a little distortion, you could have increased the height of your image at the top and stretch the clouds to move your horizon line further away from the center.
I'm going to make a brief comment here. I mean, I've seen this style of picture at this particular spot a number of times, and some people actually go for the motion. That's part of their, their goal. So that may have been the photographer's goal here.
Okay, it could be. I'd like to see more of it if that was the case then.
Okay. Let's see. Are you guys seeing this? This is an edit. Is it showing up? Or
yeah,
it looks just like the original.
Well, it shows it's a lower horizon on there.
Okay. All right. As compared to the previous one, which was here. Okay. That's the original. Next is a drop of oil on Bull Creek.
Okay, the drop of oil holds the eye to the center of the frame. The blue color does seem to be the dominant color in the image. I really do like the sharp reflection of the background trees in the oil drop. Main obvious subject is the colors in the oil. You might have tried playing around with different things like saturation, etc., to bring out more of that color and see if you like it better.
Okay. Next is Bud Light Blues.
It's always good to have an odd number of items instead of an even number is the main point of interest. I like the bottle not being positioned in the center notch. That being said, I would like to see it stand out more in the image. This might mean including less in the image, but that would also mean getting rid of one of the notches. You might consider doing some dodging on the wire shadow and make it less visible or even invisible in the image. More of the big net could also help draw attention to the bottle.
Okay. Missing the mountains. Are you seeing this?
Yep.
Okay.
I do have to admit this truly does fit the blue theme. The exposure does appear to be well handled for a tricky subject. I might suggest something that I once heard a judge say to do on your images. He said to do a border patrol to make sure that you don't have any unwanted intrusions around the edge of your image. In this case, I would consider cropping off the top left side to remove the stray branch at the top. It does appear that a wide angle lens was used. The trees on the left are straight, but the further you look to the right, the more the trees are leaning in that direction. The perspective could be caused by your camera not being level vertically. It can be corrected by a correction in editing. I might consider cutting down on the blue coloring to make this look more natural. I might also add that if you do have this case here, it's better to straighten the trees in the center and let them fall out towards the outside.
Good point. Okay. Next is Waiting for the Bats.
I really like the simplicity and graphic presentation with the silhouettes against the blue sky background. I like the way the upright poles are hidden by the people. This works well for the panorama. I would like to see fewer people and more bare railing. 5 peoples might be about right if you can do it. I do like the girls with the windblown hair standing apart from the other people. I don't know if it'd be possible to find a spot with fewer people grouped together while you're making a silhouette, though.
A lot of people show up to see the bats, so.
Yeah, maybe towards the end of that row, I'm not sure.
Yeah. Shaking all over.
Second pod is here.
Okay,
I moved the car already.
you did? So I need
Oh,
judge him.
that isn't me.
Oh.
Great action shot.
Okay.
I like the unique bird bath too. I like that you captured the spray of the water without having too much of it hiding the bird's face. I'm bothered by the bright out of focus green plants at the bottom. You might try desaturating the greens to see how you like that, as well as burning in the bird bath so it doesn't compete for attention with the subject.
Okay. All right. Gone in 60 seconds.
The light painting is great. The blue tones work well with the silver and black of the car. I like the view from the low camera angle. You might have less room on the bottom and more room on the top for better composition. You might also consider cloning out the little portion of the light painting in the upper left corner. It tends to draw too much attention away from your subject.
Okay. And that was gone in faster than 60 seconds.
Yeah.
And lastly, Moody Blues.
Okay, the placement of the actual trees in the middle third of the image works well for your composition. I would like to see something in sharper detail. I spent too much time playing with this and I did make a mistake by raising the exposure more than I expected. I find I do like this as a high key image more than a low key image. It seems to show sharper detail in the reflections than the original, as well as showing different layers from the lighter to the medium to the darker tones. It also seems to reduce the noise when it is lighter.
You want me to show that edit?
I think it does show up quite well, if you
Okay.
can.
Let's see here. New share.
These are the perks of being the competition chair, in case anybody was wondering.
Yeah, yeah, you get to come up with all new ways to confuse yourself.
Yeah.
So here's the edit. That's cool. It's got a really abstracty look to it. You know,
Yeah, it does either way.
You know, I could see this printed large on a wall. It's really interesting and definitely moody.
Mhm.
Okay. Well, Dennis, thank you so much. Now we're going to look at how you rank these images. Let me get back to our competition software. That. And we'll go to.
Yeah, you can't blame me for running overtime. I really read fast.
Well, thank you. All right. So these, I should have, yep, 4 images. We have 1 honorable mention and 3 places. We have Just Missed by yours truly, honorable mention. Shaken All Over by the same photographer. That's 3rd place. 2nd place, A Drop of Oil on Bull Creek by Dennis Bosserman. That's a cool idea. I was impressed by getting the trees in focus. It's sometimes difficult with reflections.
I took several shots at that.
All right.
Did you add the oil?
No, I was just walking there and I spotted the oil and it's like, oh my God. It's so strange how such a small little dot of oil can make such a big spot.
That's really interesting and a good catch. And 1st place, oh, forget him. Gone in 60 Seconds, Joshua Baker, Mr. Creative Light Man himself.
Yeah, I've done it once or twice.
You got a couple words, Josh?
I don't know that upper right corner though, Josh. I don't know.
I didn't even notice it. Yeah, I thought what you said about border patrol, like going around, like checking your edges, that is a good idea. Actually, no, I do about 1 of these a week. I do a whole bunch. So this is 4 layers, camera on a tripod, 1 pass for the body panels, 1 pass for the wheels, 1 pass for the ground, and then another pass for the background. Yeah. So 4 different layers, and they're all done in like a garage, basically. So
it worked well.
Yeah, not a lot of room. It's such a cool car. It sounded even better than it looked. So yeah,
really clean floor there.
There was a lot of clone stamping on this floor.
Oh, okay.
A lot of clone stamping on that floor. So yeah, sometimes I get like, you'll see my feet because it's 4 basically 20-second exposures at f11, ISO 100 put together with a circular polarizer for the and I set that to the closest body panel so that it doesn't, just to make sure I get enough detail on that front quarter panel.
Cool.
Yeah.
Great effect. I like the way the colors work together. All
yeah.
right.
If anybody has any fun cars, let me know. We'll go do them. It takes me about 5 minutes.
You have People's Choice, Mark?
Yes, I'm going to pick that right now.
Yeah, you want to come up and do my rusty S10?
I don't know. But like I tell all my clients, you got the money, honey. I got the time.
Oh, yeah. Who has the money?
Okay, these are the People's Choice. And
yeah,
the bronze goes to Steve Burkich for Moody Blues.
Yay, Steven.
Nice. Silver goes to Hatham Samarchi. Jim McDaniel, you need to mute yourself. And first place, no surprise, the gold medal goes to Joshua Baker.
Yay.
Very nice.
It was fun.
Did you leave anything out the first time you talked about it?
Um,
Too bad, it's gonna stay that way. All right.
These 69 Camaros are way curvier than you think, and that does introduce a lot of problems, but you know.
All right, I am going to stop sharing my screen so you can all see your faces again.
Whoa.
Dennis, thank you so much for helping us out this month. We really enjoyed your commentary.
Yeah, it's great.
And hopefully we will see you again.
Hi guys, I just want to say hello everybody. I was on another meeting and then I just finished.
I hear Laszlo's voice. There you are.
Yeah.
Hi all.
Hey, something I forgot to mention something at the beginning of the meeting. A friend of mine reached out to her to me. Somebody gave her a whole bunch of film and darkroom supplies. If anybody's interested in free film and darkroom supplies, message me and I will send you pictures of what it is. It's in Austin.
Okay.
Cool.
Free gear.
Any
Or if
other,
you know-
I'm gonna announce that the next month, the September 7th competition is open.
October, not September.
October, I mean, what did I say, September? October 7th, thank you, is open theme. So look for your cool images. We want to see them. Hopefully we'll have, more people back in town then. So look forward to that. In 2 weeks, we have Clay. Who's got this? The speaker. We already talked about the speaker.
Yeah, we already talked about it. Todd's coming.
Okay.
Yeah,
All right.
Todd's coming. Yeah, and then we're working on October. We have a potential. We're going to work out some details for October. It'll have an astrophotography theme probably. So Stephen and Josh stand by, and we'll get some more information. Just for all of you to know that the officers communicate on Slack, and so if you're going to volunteer and be on our officer team, then that's how we communicate. We work on it with Slack, so it's not hard.
And I am a slacker. Proud of it.
Do we have any club shows coming up before Christmas? Like, do we have West Pecan?
We have West Pecan in
November.
Yeah,
So
we'll
is
probably
that-
got it.
Is that one where we're going to have like a juror?
Yeah.
Okay.
Is there a theme for that one?
Is it people?
Yeah, it's people.
Okay.
No, people. Okay.
You could have just done the announcement. Every question was like, yep. You could have just said it. Yeah. I think we have West Pecan in November, December. And then we have Three-Legged Goat in February. And then
we have the Pflugerville Library show will be September 23rd, 2022.
Yeah.
Well,
And there'll probably be some more in between there, but those are the ones we have confirmed.
Busy schedule.
Yeah. So start printing.
And the Round Rock and go visit the Round Rock Jester Annex. Definitely look it up. It's not hard to find. It's just
right off Sunshine.
Yeah.
Cool. Well, I want to thank all of our judges tonight. Did a great job. Really enjoyed your comments and suggestions. And we'll be using you again.
I'd like to second that. I thought it was very constructive and encouraging, which is the vibe of this club. It's pretty easy to tear people down. It's a lot harder to show what you would have done instead.
Yeah, my stepdad always said it takes a skilled craftsman to build a barn, but any jackass can knock it down.
All right.
And on that note, y'all have a great night. Go take some photos.
Okay. Dennis, thanks again. Really appreciate it.
Thank you for being here, Dennis.
Bye. Keep in touch. Bye.
Bye.
Thanks, Ed.